Hey guys, a quick little blurb here before week 1 starts. There's going to be a little bit of hiccup, and I might edit it out of the video because my week 1 accidentally EV'd his Pokemon at level 5 as opposed to level 50. Generally just a mistake that happens. Humans make mistakes. That's life. So take that with a grain of salt if you see something that maybe misses a KO or a speed interaction that looks a bit weird or anything of the sort like that. It could potentially be due to that. I knew that because it was briefly discussed before the game, but didn't really acknowledge it as much as I probably should have, like reflecting and going through the game as like why some stuff might live to hit, or like something missing a KO or a speed interaction. So that's very likely why. But nonetheless, we still disagreed and played the set, so which you'll be seeing here. And we'll just quickly add as well, for the season, I'm going to add both my team sheet and my opponent's team sheet. Just the open team sheet, of course, in the description. That way, before you wanted to watch the game, if you want to have an insight on some of the stuff that I brought and some of the stuff my opponent brought as well, you do have that option there, and then you can be like every other backseating VGC player and know every single correct play to happen in a game. So, you know, we've given you that power. You know, just don't use it well, I suppose. And I'll also be linking all the other coaches who are planning on doing uploads in the description as well. If you like another content creator there, or if you want to do some scouting for your boy in terms of like general plays they make and whatnot, you know what, I'm not going to say no to that. We're not exactly like the premier player here, so all help is good help. And with that said, I don't think there's too much more to go over, except for potentially editing down the start of the match. And I've already rambled on long enough, so let's get to it. Preparations are complete. Good luck, have fun to Phenix. So it's Elekid, Magby, Krogunk, Golett, Hatenna, and Frigibax. 3 Terra Ghosts, 1 Terra Grass, 2 Terra Flying. So he seems pretty, a bit concerned about like Meanfield and stuff. Oh, hang on. Wait, hang on. So I'm gonna focus on lead for now. Just a little bit of a discussion there, bit of a mix-up that's sort of happening there. With those as the leads there, the fake out option is lead. I'm probably gonna lead just the same proposed lead for the game 1. I think Sotodle is a pretty excellent bring here as 3rd, because it kind of does a lot into a bunch of the team here. And for 4th, with 2 flying types and like a bunch of like ghost types and stuff, maybe Joltik's not a bad option. But I think for the game 1, let me quickly check the Esper here. I think we'll go Joltik for the game 1 and see how. Okay, so I think my op is EV stuff at level 5 instead of level 50. So see how we go. So we select Hatenna and the Krogunk here. So Trick Room is probably on the cards. That's probably not the most ideal thing ever. But I reckon, right? We'll still probably attempt to just throw some attacks out here. Like, probably just like a Bulldoze and a Leaf Storm for the time being. So Terra's happening immediately off that end. Is it going to be the, it's the Krogunk. Okay, so Krogunk is turning Terra Ghost, which might not be the worst thing in the world for us. I'm expecting probably like a fake out or something. Coming in on the Snivy, that is fine. The crit there doesn't really matter too much. Not too much damage is happening there, so Hatenna's probably in there. I've crit. The Snivy's been crit twice in 2 moves. Not the best look for us. But I don't think there was really too much I was going to do to kind of just like stop the Trick Room outright here. Oh, it's gone for Nuzzle. Probably calling my Terra. Yeah, that's a fair play, actually. I don't really hate that too much. Do I want to hold Terra for anything else that could be in the back? I'm thinking potentially holding it for Satotl. With Terra gone early, maybe... I think we just rip Leaf Storm onto that. And I think maybe we can go with, like, an Iron Head into... I think we double the Hatenna. Because Hatenna can still threaten Trick Room. With the Speed Boost, Snivy is faster than everything that could be brought. Unless if there's, like a Scarf Pokemon, which I don't think will happen. So there's a Leaf Storm there. That actually did nothing. Okay, so that thing's definitely the a Violite. It could potentially be the Okay, that makes me think it's probably more Assault Vest. Snivy did take that relatively well. We can have a look at throwing out, like, a Giga Drain onto that Croagunk potentially as well, following up. But this Psychic could just knock out the Snivy here. No, that's really nice for us. And we got a Special Defense boost, so we will take that all the way to the bank. I think we might want to potentially play around a Sucker Punch that can come out here. So I'm probably just going to Protect and rip an Earthquake here. It does reveal, like, a lot of the cards that I do have on hand with the lads at the moment. But information is, you know, and information's pretty nice. But I think this is fine. That's almost a dead Croagunk, so not bad damage there. Drain Punch potentially coming out onto that. That's fine, because I am Focus Sash, so we do get one run there. We do guarantee live one hit. The Tangled Hair isn't really going to do too much. The Croagunk's already quite slow, but I do think at -2, Satotl is faster. Regardless of what happens there, so that's pretty nice. Sam comes out. Sam is Elekid. So Elekid might have a potential priority move, but I think regardless, I'm still probably going to look at just going for a Giga Drain, and I'm thinking potentially... Is it another Bulldoze, or is it an Earthquake here? It could also be a Protect. I kind of want to play on the side that it's a Earthquake. Snivy might be able to take the Earthquake with that little bit of recovery. Actually, you know what? Probably not. But depending on where the Elekid wants to target, it can KO either one of these. If it's Snivy, that's great. It goes down, and Diglett should get the knockout. Which does end up happening. I'm going to start recording some knockouts here. So Snivy got one. Diglett's got one. And Elekid at the moment is 1-0 as well. The Elekid's Life Orb, that's good information to note as well. Diglett getting a second KO. So I will drop that down as well. Snivy is 1-1. So potentially what could be in the back. Nothing really I want to Bulldoze or like Earthquake besides. So probably thinking here we go Satotl. Croagunk is 0-1. Golett is currently 0-0. It is the Magby. Okay, so that's 0-1, and this here is 0-0. Alrighty, so I can just go for like a high horsepower, and probably a Bulldoze, because if a Bulldoze, it should mean that Joltik outspeeds it. And we won't do too much to Satotl there. Satotl is so goddamn bulky. It's going for the Bulldoze there also can reveal if it's like Covert Cloak or anything. We do see the Heat Wave. That kind of just bounces off Satotl, which is like kind of cool. So Magby does get a knockout though, which is perfectly fine there. Satotl should get clean up here with the high horsepower. And that's game 1 to us, which is pretty nice there. So that's there, that's there, that's there. And Elekid is 1-1. So it does suck hearing about like the EV situation. Hopefully it doesn't happen to other coaches in the future. It was... I think it kind of changes a little bit on how things are, but it's pretty hard to sort of get everything sorted to 5 there. We'll play Kieran 3 for game 2. Bit of fun, why not? And so we're looking good. So the question is, can we run that back in the game 2? I'm thinking it's a pretty high possibility that we can. Because those same first 3 were good. Diglett was faster than Magby as well, but it always is. It was slower than the Elekid, so the Elekid is max speed. So getting like that speed up on Snivy is nice. However, I'm going to go for a somewhat different approach here going into the game 1. I will probably lead that and have these in the back. I'll lead Starview Peak this time. Get a bit of fun out there. Pretty heavily defended against me and Fu there with 2 resistances to fighting, 3 potential immunities, and the natural immunity in Golod as well. Not really something that it wants to come out there. So Frigibax and Krogunk is the adaptation there. Okay, so that is kinda interesting. Faking out Frog seems a bit silly. It does have it's Ghost Herod. And looking at the base speed of these 2, Snivy is faster than everything here. But I still think I'm pretty fine just to go for a Psychic here. Probably Protect as well, just to get a bit of intel on what stuff wants to happen here. So that if there's a fake out on Esper, that's perfectly fine. We are Covert Cloak. Went for the upper hand. Probably on the Esper, but that also would have been fine. And the Frigibax is Scarf, so that's pretty nice information to know there. But we are going to Psychic and take out the Krogunk here for... Oh no, he's Focus Sash. That's not really too much of an issue there. We can manage that. I think we do want to Psychic Frigibax. I think we could probably... there's no real point going for double protect. I might attempt to go for a Leaf Storm on the Krogunk. We are faster than the Krogunk. The Icicle Crash will probably do a fair bit. We're Eviolite, so we might live. We do live. That's pretty nice. Eviolite's an absolutely insane item to have in a format like this, where like, you just get it for one thing. That bounced off. Snivy is going to get a second kill there on the Krogunk, which is nice. We get that special attack boost as well. So that's the Krogunk down there to 2 deaths. Esper isn't too worried about any Icicle Crashes because if the flinches come out, that's not a problem. Here comes the Magby now. Nothing really wants to come in on the Magby, but Snivy isn't really going to be doing too much else here. I'm honestly not too worried about the Frigibax being locked into that, because we are thick fat on Sotolo, so we will take that all day. I do think it's probably wise just to throw out some attacks into the Magby. If we do end up getting knocked out, we do get knocked out. That is fine. That actually does quite a high amount of damage there, so that's a little bit of panic stations. But I don't think it should be too much of an issue, especially if we're going to be dodging boosts like that. That goes quite a long way there for sure. Because that probably could knock us out, but it's pretty safe for us to go into Diglett now. We do just have to worry about the potential terror on the Magby, because no terrors have been burnt yet. But I do have the option to go for Protect, and I can just rip an Earthquake into this. Because if we do force the terror out on the Magby, we do have Sotoro with that Ice Shard that we can kind of just throw out into that slot. Let me update these. So Snivy is down again. That's Magby with a second knockout there. And Esper is protecting. We are faster than the Scarf Frigibax with Diglett as well, which is kind of nice. Diglett will guarantee take a hit because we are Focus Sash. Which is nice, so Diglett is going to get a second kill there. Diglett on a mile 10, not gonna lie. Frigibax goes 0-1. So the Heatwave does come out here, so that will hit the Diglett pretty hard. Could make life a little scary if it's Elekid in the back, because Elekid is faster. It is Elekid. I think Sotodle might be able to run away with the game, potentially. I do think we can look to just throw out a Psychic. And I think we potentially look to throw out a Iron Head onto the Magby, just in case if we do get that option to go for it. We don't, which is fine. So the Elekid is going to get a second knockout there. The Tangled Hair actually normally would be nice, but it's not really like the most nice because just the way how things are at the moment. That's doing big damage. Esper goes down as well. Not a problem there. So Esper is down to 1. Magby up to 3. So now it's just Sotodle to come out here. I think for Sotodle, I will rip a Terra Ground, but I'll probably look to Ice Shard the Magby first, because that's kind of threatening probably I would probably say like the biggest amount of damage onto everything here. Diglett went down, Essen down. Yeah, so everything, okay, so that's all looking fine at the moment. So it's kind of just Sotodle versus the world. The Ice Shard does pick up the Magby there, which is quite nice, so we should be able to hopefully 1v1 the Elekid that is here. We'll see what the Elekid wants to go for, though. It could just be, like, it's a Fire Punch. Not a problem, because we are Thick Fat. And we should be able to just throw out a high horsepower, and I think we should have the game on wrap at this point. Thick Fat Sotodle just kind of just, like, putting in some, like, good work here. We go for the highest horsepower. Yeah, that will do it. Alright, fantastic stuff. That's a really good start for us. Sotodle already proven its worth, like, pretty well. The static proc there does happen at the end, which is kind of funny, considering, you know, we're a ground type and normally we're not open too much to that kind of paralysis and whatnot. But yeah, good start for the season there for us, going into that week 1. 2 pretty solid wins. Yeah, we just kind of played well. There was a bit unfortunate with the EV situation that happened on Phenix's end. Hopefully it doesn't happen in the future. Do feel a little bad in that regard. But nonetheless, I still think Phenix played fairly well. Playing definitely to their outs. Missing some pretty crucial moves, especially on the Esper with that Icicle Crash that was really rough. Could have been an interesting Game 3 if things fell less in my favour and more in Phenix's favour there. But all in all, not gonna complain about that. We will see you week 2, where we should be up against Razz.